Hello, my friends. We are gathered together again to participate in our annual, meaning we've done this one time before, reading wrap up. All right, at the end of 2023, I set my reading goal for 30 books. I thought that was a really reasonable goal. I was like, 30 books, I can totally do that. Well, then I decided to go ahead and get my happy little self a Kindle, and I downloaded the Libby app where I had access to all of my public libraries and all of the audiobooks that I wanted if I was willing to wait, which I am, for a free book. So I ended up reading 53 books instead this year. So I'm really proud of it. However, that's a lot of books to cover in one video. So we're gonna go as fast as humanly possible. We're not gonna go as in depth as I did in the previous year. I'm gonna give you a short little snippet of each book. The first book I read of the year was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. 4 stars. Simple read, but a powerful one. Definitely a great one to have in your library, or could be a little coffee table book. That could be fun. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I do believe this is the first book of hers I've read. I gave this book 4 stars. I really liked the pacing of this book, and I really liked that she gave the characters a lot of substance, and there was a lot of good payoff in the romance. All right, up next we have 7 Days in June. I gave this book 3 to 3.5 stars. One thing you're gonna notice in this video is I am forever giving books 3 to 3.5 stars. I don't know why. I was noticing that as I was going through all my ratings from last year, preparing for this video, and I was like, girl, you need to be more decisive this year. And then we have Among the Bros. This I also gave 3.5 stars. I found this book to be super fascinating. It was so crazy to learn about how closely knit fraternities and like the drug ring are tied together. It's absolutely crazy. This author was a fraternity brother himself, so a lot of the narrative and like the way he was speaking about frat houses and all that stuff was leaning more positive. Not that I have a problem with that, but just so you know before you dive into this, but super interesting read. The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. This book I was so excited about, and I was so disappointed by this book. I gave this book 3 stars, go figure. I liked parts of this book. Some of the stories that were in this book I enjoyed. I just felt like there were too many stories happening and not enough in each of them to make me care. Now we have Shipped coming in at a rating of 3.5 stars, that's correct. Now, I would be lying to you if I told you I remembered anything about this book. I have no recollection of what went on in this book, so I had to refer to my good old GoodReads review. And what I wrote is that it's a cute romance with very little to no smut. So if you are into romance books and don't like reading smut, this may be a good option for you. Clearly, it didn't stick around for me. All right, next up we have my girl Emily Henry. Happy Place. I remember really enjoying this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. This book really touched me, I feel like, because I think one of the biggest takeaways from this book for me was I feel like it's a very universal feeling of this internal battle, sometimes external battle, of the balance of managing other people's expectations of you and like your desires and dreams versus what you actually want for yourself, and like navigating that through life. I remember being very emotional about that in the moment. And I also just found this book really fun and silly and just like such good writing. And I do believe I cried reading this book, which it's not hard for me to cry reading a book, but definitely good one. Emily Henry is always a banger. All right, next we have my first ever physical library book that I checked out last year, and I was so excited about it. So I read Fancy Meeting You Here, and I gave that book a whopping 3 stars, and I could not tell you a single thing about it. And then we're moving on to our first ever Kindle read of the year. I read Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, and it was a really good follow-up to the first book. 3.5 stars. Did I say that already? 3.5 stars. Are we surprised? No. And then we have Rebecca, Not Becky, and this book I gave 2 stars. No. I picked it up because I was super excited because I'm like, my name is Becky and I like to be called Becky and not Rebecca, so it's like the Uno reverse of that. No, girl. It was not good. Where the Crawdads Sing. This book I actually listened to and I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's super worth the hype, honestly. I gave this book 4.5 stars, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you give it a go. And then I read, spoiler alert, I gave this book 2 stars. I was so excited about it because there is a plus size female main character, and I did relate to her insecurities in some way, so I did enjoy that. However, the male main character was the most annoying. I couldn't stand him. It like ruined the experience for me. I was like, this is horrible. I hate this man. Get him out of here. Throw the whole man away. Let's start again. And then we listened to Daisy Jones and the Six. And let me tell you, listening to this book definitely gave it the edge because there were so many different voices. So you could kind of pinpoint who was reading what. So it wasn't as confusing, I feel like, if I was trying to keep track reading it, unless there was probably names. I don't know. I didn't read the book. Anyways, I enjoyed the different voices and like how it made it feel real. I gave that book 3.5 stars to 4 stars. Imagine that. Surprise, surprise. And then we have the ever hyped book Icebreaker. I gave this book 3 stars, and let me tell you, if smut is your thing, girl, this book is for you. As you can see, this has a gold stamp of approval on it. If you watch Vlogmas, you watched the video where I was stamping all of these. This is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This book gets 5 stars. This book is one of Becky's all-time favorite books. Read this book. And then the next like 6 books are mini series, like short stories, novellas, whatever you want to call them. So these were announced on Amazon. It was called like The Improbable Meet Cute. At Valentine's Day or something, they were going to release these 4 books or 6 books, and it was going to be only available to Kindle readers. When that was announced, I was wanting a Kindle, and I was like, I need to go get a Kindle. So I took myself to Unclaimed Baggage. Well, I ordered it from Unclaimed Baggage. That way I would have had a Kindle when this was released. So I was super excited about it. So we're just gonna like go rapid fire through all 6 of these little mini books. So the first of the little mini series that I read was the Christina Lauren book, and I gave that 4 stars. That writing duo never misses for me. I absolutely love a Christina Lauren book. The next book was by Abby Jimenez. This one I gave 4 stars as well. I don't really remember anything about it other than it was wholesome and cute. I wrote that on my review, and so we're gonna believe past Becky that it was indeed wholesome and cute. Okay, and then we have Sally Thorne's contribution to this book series, and this is the one that I remember the most about because I was so irritated reading this book. These 2 sisters went to a spa day, and there's this like futuristic bathtub that like closes above you. It's like supposed to be like top of the line. One of the sisters gets trapped in the bathtub, okay? And then the other sister is like, you have fun doing that. I'm gonna go and finish my spa day while you suffer in this dark, cold tube filled with water. I don't know if I said what I gave that, but I gave it 3 stars, which was really kind of me, now that I'm thinking about it. Jasmine Guillory, I believe that's how you say your last name. I could be butchering it, I'm sorry if I am. I gave this one 3 stars. It did have a plus size female lead in it, and we love that. All right, Ashley Poston's, it fell flat for me, I'm not gonna lie. I did end up giving it a 3-star rating, mostly because I love Ashley Poston, I'm pretty sure. All right, and then the final number 6 of the mini book series was by Soraya Wilson. I believe that's how you say her name as well. I gave this one 2 stars. It was a fat no for me. I did not like it, and I can't tell you anything about it because I can't remember anything that was a part of this book, and that's probably for the best. And then we have my girl, she's back again with Malibu Rising. This book was so good. I do believe I'll be putting a little Becky gold star right here because I gave this book 5 stars. This book was so beautiful. It's like the complicated relationships with your family members, specifically your siblings, and about unconditional love and forgiveness, and it was just so well written, and I really enjoyed it, and she's my girl, and this is a really good book, and I definitely cried after I read this book, and I highly recommend it. This will get the Becky stamp of approval. All right, now we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I gave this book 4 stars. I remember it being wholesome. I remember really liking parts of the book. I will say it was no 7-Year Slip, but it was still really good. It just wasn't as good as 7-Year Slip. So because I read 7-Year Slip first, I was comparing the other books and like how I felt reading that book to the other one she wrote. So, okay, and then we have The Perfect Marriage. I listened to this book on audiobook. Let me tell you something. The only reason why this book got 3 stars for me and not 2 stars was the ending. The ending was really awesome. However, both of the main characters in this story, I could not stand. I know that we were supposed to be cheering for the female main character, but she was rude. Like, she was unkind. Like, she was not nice to people. And the husband, like the male main character, dude, he was so annoying and his antics were getting to me, like both of them. And then we have one of my top tier authors ever, TJ Klune. I read The Extraordinaries by him, and let me tell you something, TJ Klune is always like gonna hit for me. I love his writing style. I think he is so funny. However, I am still waiting for a book to hit me as hard as Under with the Whispering Door hit me. That book is just amazing, beautiful. I love it. So I really liked it. I thought it was a good read. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know if I already said that, but I gave it 4 stars. Next is The Spanish Love Deception, and let me tell you, this book to me is a definition of if this was real life, it would be creepy. Okay, but with that being said, I gave it 3 to 3.5 stars. Sure, I Will Join Your Cult. I actually listened to this book in audiobook form. We were coming back from our trip to Texas, and I gave it 3 stars. I will say she is very funny, and there were bits where I did laugh out loud, and I do think listening to it is definitely the way to go. All right, and then we have Wildfire. I gave this book 3 stars. It was a fun follow-up to the first one. Definitely, again, if you are into smut, these may be the books for you. Frida McFadden. I gave this book 5 stars. I devoured this book. And then we read the book that put us in a book slump for quite a while. I forced myself to finish The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. I gave this book 1 star. I suffered through this book. And honestly, I should have DNF'd it, and I didn't. I was like, I have to finish it. I have to finish it. Did not like it. All right, and then I read The 5 People That You Meet in Heaven. I gave this book 3 stars. I will say it was okay. I like the premise of this book. I did enjoy most of the people that you meet and like the idea behind you impact people, you know, all throughout your life in ways that you don't even know. You impact people that you don't even know just by like chain of events. Like, however, there is one person that this person meets, okay, along his journey, and basically, spoilers, but he meets his father in like time or whatever, and the lesson that you're supposed to take away from this section of the book is basically the idea that, yeah, I know your dad was really like horrible to you, but he's your dad and you should forgive him because he's your father. And I'm sorry, but like that to me, I was like, oh, somebody's mom, somebody's dad who didn't go to therapy wrote this book. That's so mean. That's probably bad to say. But like, I'm sorry, but you can't just be like, I'm your dad, forgive me. Like, that's not how that works. So I didn't like that. That definitely knocked down a rating for me. Yours truly, by Abby Jimenez, 5 stars. I cried. It was a wonderful journey. Highly recommend. I read The Rule Book. I gave that book 4.5 stars because it had literally every trope you could possibly ask for in that book. It had, I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. It had second chance. There was like forced proximity, like one bed trope or whatever, enemies to lovers, and there was a slow burn. All right, and then I read Outlawed, and I was really excited about this book. However, the first like 2/3 of this book dragged on. Oh my gosh, it took forever. And then the last third of this book, it did pick up, and I was like, oh, things are happening. It was great, right? So I gave this book 3 stars. Crying in H Mart, I've heard nothing but good things about before I picked it up. I gave this book 3 stars. Amazing. I didn't love it as much as I've liked other memoirs. I have given memoirs 5 stars. In fact, you will see a memoir in this my 2024 reading wrap up. I did give a 5-star review too. I just felt like this was more like a therapy session for this author rather than like them trying to tell me about their life and involve me in the story and pull me in. I'm not saying that's like a bad way to write a memoir. It's your memoir, do whatever you want to do. But for me, I've read memoirs that do that and bring me with them, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't feel like I was connecting with this author, maybe because we just have very different life experiences. That is possible as well. But for me, I just gave it 3 stars because it was not my favorite read. Lisa Mother Effin' Jewel. Lisa Mother Effin' Jewel, what the heck? Her books are so freaking good. I'm currently reading another book of hers right now to start out my 2025 with a bang. 5 stars, read the book. All right, and then we have The Remarkably Bright Creatures. I gave this book, say it with me, 3 stars. That's right. I wanted more Marcellus. I felt like the octopus was the most interesting part of the book and we didn't get enough of him. Now we have The Guncle. I gave this book 4 stars. It was wholesome, a great read, a fun fiction book, just lighthearted. I definitely cried at the end. It was beautiful, wonderful, fabulous. Definitely give it a go if you like a good wholesome fiction book. Rita McFadden coming in with another banger in 2024. I read The Housemaid's Secret. I gave this 4 stars. Funny story, I gave this book 4.5 to 4.75 stars. Why I didn't give it 5 stars, girl, I don't know. But Becky of the past had her reasons, so we're gonna trust past Becky. Honestly, next to Beach Read, which is probably my favorite Emily Henry book, Funny Story is probably right after because it was so good and so well written. And just anytime Emily Henry releases a book, I will be purchasing. It's like instant buy for me. And then another instant buy from your girl, or instant rent off of Libby because I'm trying not to spend a bunch of money. Christina Lawrence, Paradise Problem. This book was so good. They are always coming out with bangers. I gave this book 4 stars. Then we have Throttled, 1 star. No thank you. I listened to this book, don't recommend listening. I only listened to this book because in Chicago, I wanted to get to know some people while we were there. So I joined a book club and this was the book that they read. No, thank you. No, thank you. The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. Okay, and I was doing like a synopsis notes of each of the books so I could cycle through these really fast. And for this book, I wrote, I'm confused. I was confused reading the book, and then in parentheses, Becky, read the review. Okay, so letting you guys know now, I gave this book 3 stars. Here we go. Are you ready? Also, this review has spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, skip ahead 2 minutes or until you see another photo of a book in the screen. You know what I mean? I finished this book a few days ago, and it's taken me a while to decide what to rate it. I feel like this book was trying to be all about strong women and the struggle of infertility, parentheses, which it did include part of this, while at the same time having the love interest like her because she's a cool girl and not like the other girls because she drinks beer and eats pizza and knows what she wants to eat. Emoji. Wow. Groundbreaking. Bro. This is a direct quote. LOL, is there such a thing as a male version of a pick-me girl, or is this stereotype why those girlies exist? LOL, just wondering. I'm very millennial putting LOL in my reviews. Also, this is the spoiler. Also, the heart-wrenching side plot of their friend who gets in a wreck. We think he's gonna make it and then boom, he's gone. I wasn't ready for that. Anyways, 3 stars. Thanks, Becky at the pass. And then we have Little Fires Everywhere. Yes, I paid $1.50 for this book. We love McKay's in this house. I gave this book, say it with me, 3.5 stars. That's right. I gave it 3.5 to 4 stars, actually. I really enjoyed this book. We loved the good family dynamics, the mystery, the drama. I ate this book up. It was really, really good. And then we have The Devil and the White City. This is by Eric Larson. And I think he's gonna have a forever fan because I gave this book 4 stars. This is an entirely true history book. This is not historical fiction. This is just factual. And Eric Larson wrote this book in a way that was so digestible. I don't really like to read history books in general. Historical fiction I can get down with, but the way he writes, it's so easy to consume. Also, this book is this story, this part of history is so wild and crazy that you could probably believe it is fiction. I think, in fact, in the book, he says that at some point. Look at the edges of this book. Are you kidding me right now? Beautiful. It's amazing. So this is In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. I gave this book 3.5 to 4 stars. Gosh, I always say it, but I'm still just waiting for a TJ Klune book to hit me under the whispering door, and I'm starting to feel like it's just not gonna happen for me again. I just have to appreciate TJ Klune's writing and his style of book, because I thought the land and like the world that he created is so fun. I will say it was a little slow at first and it eventually picked up, but it was a good read. I definitely recommend, especially if you like other TJ Klune books. I would highly recommend this one. It's Not Hysteria. I listened to this book. It was chock full of information. I highly recommend this book to any and everyone. Also, I gave it 4 stars. Sorry, I didn't mention. Then we have The Guncle Abroad. What did I give this book? 3 stars. Not as good as the original Guncle, but still cute and wholesome and a fun fiction book to read. And then we have Not in Love. And let me tell you, what a breath of fresh air from Ali Hazelwood. I don't typically love her tropes, like big, huge dude, small, tiny girl. Like, I mean, I like her books, but that's not my favorite trope. I gave this book 4 stars. It was such a breath of fresh air. I highly enjoyed it. It was so good. Probably my favorite of her books. Give it a go. All right, and now we have Margot's Got Money Troubles. I listened to this book. I gave it 3 stars. Yes, 3 stars. Surprise, surprise. I enjoyed it. It was fine. I liked some of the elements of the story. Would I recommend it? Probably not, but it was okay. And then we have Goodbye Earl. This book I picked up entirely because of the title. I love the chicks. Forever and always they will have my heart. This book I gave 3.5 stars. It is not based in reality in any way, shape, or form, but what good book is, like, who cares? Did this book get the bump because it has some Becky nostalgia? Sure, but who cares? It's my rating, and I gave it 3.5 stars, which, are we surprised? No. And rounding out 2024 with a amazing read, I read 3 Girls from Bronzeville. I got this at my favorite bookstore in Chicago for $7 for a hardback book. That's crazy. I gave this book 5 stars. I have no notes for this book. It was such an amazing memoir, so easy to read, such just like a good. I just read this book, okay? Just read the book. I really liked it. In fact, I added, Dawn Turner has another book that she wrote, and I added that book to my want to read list simply because of how well written this memoir was. Okay. 53 books. That's it. That's everything I read in 2024, which, like, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. So let's talk about goals for 2025. Here you go. Are you ready for them? Number 1, I am going to not set a numerical goal. What? What do you mean you're not going to set a numerical goal? That's crazy. I'm not. Because I think what happened to me last year is I was so focused on reading as many books as possible at the beginning of the year. I like crammed a bunch of books in, and then by the end of the year, I was reading like 1 book a month, 2 books a month. Like, I was just not, I was burnt out from pushing myself too hard. So I'm not gonna make a numerical goal. And my goal with my physical TBR is to at least read 1 a month. So I have, if you watch Vlogmas, you already know, but if you didn't watch Vlogmas, why not? I have a playlist, I'll link it for you guys to check out. I put all of my, also look at this freaking cute sticker my husband got me for Christmas. Weenie Hot Jr., that's me. I wrote down all of the books I have on my TBR, except for my new ones for Christmas, because I feel like those don't count because I'm really excited about those and I've already picked up one. So it's the ones that have been sitting on my shelf for a long time that I haven't read, that I'm avoiding. Those are 1 a month. And then my other goal for myself is to DNF a book. Like, if you hate a book, Becky, don't make yourself finish it. You are an adult. You don't have to finish a book. You can stop reading it. That being said, let me know down in the comments below if you have like a numerical goal, if you have no goals, if you have a favorite book that you read in 2024. Let a girl know down in the comments. Especially if you like this video, please make sure you like this video and interact in the comments so YouTube will know that you guys like this video and we'll push it out to more people so more people will come and join and hang out with us. But thanks for watching. That's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys in my next video super soon. Bye.